And I didn't write that I would cry coming home from set, but I would cry for sure. Let me
I'm
tell
so
you, Kjersti, and you know this because even the journalists, everyone is crying afterwards.
Hi and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Kjersti Flaa, and here on my channel I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood and working as an entertainment reporter. So today I have a very special guest with me, Ashley, who's also worked as an entertainment reporter. She has 10 years experience working here in Hollywood. She's been on the red carpet, she's been doing press junkets, she's worked as an actress, she's done behind the scene footage for social media on TV shows, and she has some really good stories. She also told me that she's been crying a lot working here in Hollywood. It's really sad. The thing is, we laugh about it when we talk about it. In this interview I'm about to show you, so many people are crying in this town. She said that she cried almost every day going home from work. It's terrible. Anyways, she's also trying to convince me that I should watch the Meghan Markle show on Netflix and give Meghan Markle a second chance. So yeah, here's Ashley.
Ashley, welcome to Blossom Talk.
Thank you so much. I feel like I'm in your home, but that I've been in your home every single day because I've been watching your coverage every day, which has been incredible. Such an
Oh,
entertainment icon now with the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case,
oh my
which
God,
by
that
the
is
way, yeah, I'm so
crazy.
sorry about that interview. I was stunned. I don't know what I would have done.
Because you've done these press junkets. Okay,
Yeah.
so so you've done press junkets, you've done the red carpet, so you know what it's like when you are in a situation like that.
Yeah, so I used to do a lot of red carpets, especially, but I also, yeah, I had done some press junkets with some of the Disney cast. I'd gone to the sets and did a lot of junkets with them, like the stars of all the Disney shows and the ABC family at the time. But when you were sitting there and I could just tell it was utter shock, I was like, everyone says you should be reacting in a certain way, right? But it's like you can't react because these stars are expecting you to treat them like stars. And that's how a lot of people act on the red carpets as well. So it's definitely a challenge when you are also the face of your own channel or the face of a brand and you have to just kind of play along. And I think everyone in your situation would have just laughed along because what
Yeah.
else are you supposed to do? You almost feel like it's unreal.
Yeah, you have to pinch your arm, and it's like, is this really happening to me? So being on a
Yeah.
red carpet, I mean, I haven't done
Mhm.
that many red carpets because I really don't like it. I hate it. You go there, you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
What is your experience with the red carpet?
Yeah, so my experience, especially because I did a lot of ones for the smaller outlets, is trying to get those A-list stars or those big TV stars is so hard. The standout people to me are like the Scandal cast, like Bellamy Young was so lovely all the time. And then you get to see people and then they start to know you, right? And they start being like, "Oh, hey Ashley, how you doing?" But a lot of times the stars are ignoring those last outlets. All they want to talk to is Access Hollywood, which I actually interned when Billy Bush was there. And people are so much nicer to the Access Hollywood and, Entertainment Tonight reporters than they are to you. I was in the press room at the Oscars and I got to hold Jared Leto's Oscar. He was like, "Who wants to check it out?" And yeah, it was so much fun. Yeah, I grew to also hate them because they just want you to ask really specific questions. Anytime you're trying to get something controversial, they'll get pulled away, right? Like the PR people, they just pull them away. So you really have to balance that, and you kind of wonder, why do the outlets always stick to what are you wearing? Or, which, by the way, I thought that was a really good question for Cafe Society. So I'm not, I'm
Yeah,
not
thank you.
referencing that because, of course, right, a certain time period, but also it's just, when I was at Access Hollywood and then I worked at Entertainment News behind the scenes, there are just really specific questions, the only questions that they'll let you ask when you're at those bigger places. So that's why when you're like, "Why didn't you ask more about the movie?" They know that's not going to get the click. So yeah, a lot of the stars ignore the smaller guys, which is why the Meghan Markle interview just stuck out to me so much all those years because I felt like she, out of anyone, was the nicest to me. And you don't forget that.
No, you don't. I mean, the people who've been nice to me, I would always kind of defend them. And sometimes there are people that haven't been nice to others, and you're like, oh no, but
Sure.
she is a nice person, or he is a nice person. He was
Yeah.
nice to me. So I
Yeah.
totally get where you're coming from. We're going to get back to Meghan Markle. I just wanted to ask you again about,
Yeah.
when you were asked to ask specific questions, where they were
Yeah.
coming from your editors at Access Hollywood
Yeah.
and stuff, right? And
Yeah.
then when you get to the red carpet, the publicists are saying to you, don't ask this, don't ask that. Is that how you experienced
Yeah,
it?
a lot of the publicists kind of whisper in your ear, like, she's not going to talk about her relationship. Which, like, another star that stands out to me that was so nice. Again, you have those moments that just stay in your head was Kristen Stewart. And I know you interviewed Kristen Stewart. And I remember it was a Twilight premiere and she just took off her shoes at the red carpet and was like, shouldn't we all just take off our shoes? And then we interviewed her at a junket and I was behind the scenes. I wasn't the person interviewing her, but she also was so nice. She remembered all of us, said hi to all of us. And yeah, it's just so refreshing when actors are genuine and they treat you just as they want to be treated. And I understand that too because I acted in a number of things. I was a social producer on the set of Dirty John, and I understand what it's like to be an actor on set, and you're not special.
Tell us about that. What was that like? I love that show, by the way. I thought it was great. Oh my God, that was so, oh, I
Yeah,
got so annoyed watching that show because it was
yeah.
good. But so
Oh, you
tell us
did?
about your experience on working on Dirty John.
I just talked about this with I just launched a podcast with my friend who's also was also worked behind the scenes in production for like 10 years. And we were talking about, she said, you were probably one of the first social producers that there was on a set. And now that I see it, I'm like, wow, you're probably right, because there was no direction. I was the social producer on the set, and we had teams in New York that I was reporting to. We were filming in Los Angeles, and I was told go take content of the stars, and the stars were told to cooperate. And boy,
They
did they
didn't.
not necessarily follow.
Oh
Oh my
no.
gosh.
Oh my
I
God, what a
actually,
nightmare.
because what I love about you, Kjersti, and that's why I tune into your videos daily, is you always have receipts. Like your Blake Lively interview, you could have just made a video saying, "Oh, she was mean to me," and no one would have believed you. Or, but the fact that you had that receipt, it's like, and I was trying to find receipts for you because I journal about everything. Like I have thousands of journals, and I didn't write that I would cry coming home from set, but I would cry for sure. And I have had journals that I still have that say the stars would sorry, the stars wouldn't let me shoot them, so I had to just stay on set for 16 hours. Like I would get home some days coming from Marina Del Rey, and I worked on season one, so you can only imagine. But other people were really nice on that set. I got to work with some of my friends, which was
But
like the
that was
biggest
your
blessing in the
job,
world.
and they wouldn't let you do
Yes.
your job. So what did you
No,
say
it
when you're
was,
reporting? Like, I couldn't do anything today. I'm sorry, no one wanted to be.
yeah.
I mean,
So as a social producer, you have a contract and they can close your contract at any time, right? So I was really aware of that. So I always just felt like this, like I can't say I couldn't get the shot because I told them I can work with, I worked with Seth Green every day on our, we had a voiceover show, a cartoon show. I've worked with so many different people. I'm like, I can talk to stars. That's no problem. So you're convincing them that this is no problem. And then when you get to that moment and they're the stars of the show and they just kind of walk past you, or and you're like, oh, we really need this for New York, I have to talk to them tomorrow. It was so stressful, and I definitely cried multiple times. It was very, very
but didn't
stressful.
they have that in their contract though, that they had to,
You know, you would think, and it's hard to tell, your production when when they're not on set because they don't really understand. People don't understand how sets work, which is why even just the Justin Baldoni and Blake case is so crazy. Even if you take any sort of harassment out of it, my Hollywood writer friends and producers, we've all been talking and we're like, how in the world did the actress take the footage and create her own cut? And how in the world did that cut not even test well? And it got made without him even getting to watch it. Like that in any world, I think people need to understand does not happen. And that's absolutely insane. I was just fighting with people. Sorry, I could talk about that case all day long too.
This is so interesting to me. I mean, back to Dirty John, because in Dirty John,
Yeah.
there weren't that many like big stars. What's her name?
Mhm.
Brittany. What's the name of the main star? Oh, you
Yeah.
can't even say her name.
I blocked it out.
But what's the other girl? The younger girl that's
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
bubbly. What's her name?
Yes. So,
Yeah, she's.
wow,
I interviewed her
wow,
once, and I
that's
felt she
like
was lovely.
PTSD. Yeah. Okay, so Connie Britton is one of the stars,
Connie Britton,
and
yeah.
she's in Zero Day that just came out, which by the way is fabulous. But I was watching her in Zero Day, and it's interesting because when you start watching these actors and you know what they're like behind the scene, you're like, that's interesting. And I know she's supposed to play like a tough Alec on the show, and I think she could up that. I think she's playing a little too nice for what I know is capable of. But anyway, I should
Oh,
stop. No.
oh my gosh. Okay, let's get the
But
tea.
Juno Temple's really fun. Juno
Yeah.
Temple, I love
So
Ted
I
Lasso.
interviewed her, and she
Yeah.
was so sweet and
Yeah.
bubbly, and I'm really
Yeah.
happy that she is with you.
Yeah.
Oh, she was with you too, because I'm like, oh, I really like her.
No, Juno Temple's really cool, but some of the other people, it wasn't just one person, it was a couple other people, and now they're bigger now. And it was just a shame. And I do think it trickles down, right? So if the stars and the director and everyone isn't setting that tone, which bring that back to your iconic, investigative report, if the star of the show or the film is setting a tone like I'm in charge or listen to me or like trust me on what I say, then everyone else is just going to take that lead. So
Oh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry to hear
yeah,
about that. I
it's
feel
okay. It
so
was an
many people.
experience.
I think that so many people have this idea of Hollywood and what it's like to work here. And it's like it's so glamorous and amazing. And then you're just being kicked around and don't get respect from anyone. And you go home and you cry after work. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, it's just that whole like vision
So
and
many
mirage
people.
that you had that is just
Yes.
like, oh.
Let me
I'm
tell
so-
you, Kjersti, and you know this because even the journalists, everyone is crying afterwards. I just think that's true.
This is the most honest conversation I've had about this. Yes.
You
We
know,
are-
like
yeah.
there's not one show or one thing that you're not doing that you could leave a that's why, something happens that's so good and you just lock it in. Like you're
Yeah.
like, that
You're
person is
like,
the
I'm
nicest
gonna
person
love
on
this
earth.
person forever because she was actually nice to me.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The reason why you emailed me was because you wanted to talk about Meghan Markle. And I saw your interview. You had a very, very sweet interaction with her on the red carpet. And I totally get why you fell in love with her after that video that you posted on TikTok. But now you want us also to like her in her new TV show. And I'm like, I tried to watch the show and I don't necessarily have anything big against her personally. I just like feel like she's a little fake and she's like the things she's done to the royal family in the UK. I'm European. In Norway, we have a royal family. There's been a lot of scandals in the royal family and everyone's a little protective of that, but not at all as strongly as they are in the UK where everything, it's very etiquette. Everything is etiquette. And you have to when you marry into the family, things are expected of you. And the way that Meghan Markle showed up in the family, everyone's like, uh-oh. So I did try to watch the show. And I just found it really boring. And that's why I didn't connect with it. Because I was like, this is so boring. I will never make bathing salt or whatever, Epsom salt for my guests. Who can connect with that? But you want us to love her. Tell us why.
What a fun way to introduce that you want us to love her. I know I probably sound like a psychopath online because I'm like, everyone, I keep talking about this everywhere. I'm like, everyone, give Meghan Markle a shot. So I like hearing, Kjersti, that you went into it kind of unbiased. I understand, because I also agree, you know, you sign up for an experience unlike anyone else, like being in the royal family. And you understand that you're giving your life. Like, it is a public service thing. You get a lot of benefit from doing it. And I would never, ever, no matter what, speak badly about my family. So even if you left, you don't make a documentary about it, right? So I think a lot of people are going into this already hating her, like, obviously. I think it really depends on the intent that you're going in watching the show. For a lot of people, not you. But let me just speak on that, which is, if people are going into the show already hating Meghan Markle, this is not the show that's going to convince them
Yeah.
that she's like the best thing in
No,
the world.
no, yes,
No.
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're going into it, then you're still going to hate her afterwards. But if you're going into it with an open mind, let me tell you kind of who this show is for. Kjersti, do you like kind of like baking and like, do you like lifestyle shows?
Um, no, I haven't really been investing a lot of time in watching them. I do
Yeah.
like cooking more. And I did, when I
Mm,
watched the first episode, I did like that pasta thing that she put something
yeah.
directly on the stove. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. But that's the only thing I remember. And her friend that showed up, and I was like, this conversation is so fake. I'm not following. I fell asleep on the couch. But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
apart
Yes.
from that, I do see, if you are into that kind of, if you're into cooking, if
Hmm.
you're into details, that you might get inspired by her show. Is that
Yes.
your point? That you could get inspired by it?
Yes, I think there's so many different things. So I think like now is an interesting era in time where it's like the rise of the trad wives, right? Like, everyone no longer is the boss babe. That was early 2000s, and then everyone got burned out, and now everyone wants to be in house dresses. I am on a text chain with very, boss babe type girls, and they all started texting about their house dresses. So this is the thing where a lot of people just feel very burned out, and they want to come home and they want to make rainbows out of fruit. Now, do I think she's doing anything revolutionary? Absolutely not. I follow a lot of people who teach us how to do recipes, on TikTok, on Instagram. I find all my recipes in that genre. So do I think she missed an opportunity to build a actual loyal community on social? Yes. Like, that's exactly where she should have come back to. I think she's back to 2014 and pretending that there wasn't this huge gap in between. So she's like, guys, I had the TIG. This is what I do. But Meghan, you haven't done this since 2017. So you kind of have to build back up that loyal audience. Now, for people like me,
You
I'm
should do
okay
your
with that.
socials.
Oh my gosh. Meghan, if you're watching this, I'm
Yeah.
available for hire. No, but couldn't you imagine that people would respect that more if she started making videos on social media and started kind of building a loyal audience within that? And I think there was just too much of a time gap in between that she didn't do that. So it was too jarring for people. And again, they kind of felt like this is boring. Now, a lot of people that are kind of on my side of things, they think it's charming, it's calming. I already see your face. It's aspirational. Like, I okay, I'm not the greatest cook. I'm trying to learn. And I genuinely have a list of things I want to make. I want to make her dog biscuits. I want to make her honey lavender cake. I think there's something about, I'm buying into it. I'm like soaking up what she has to offer. A lot of my friends say it's kind of like a background show. One of my Hollywood writer friends, he watched it twice because he was like, I thought it was kind of boring and a little self-indulgent, but I kind of had to rewatch it because I'm like, why do people like this? And he said, you know what it is? It's kind of bringing you back to a time pre-COVID where things just felt like a little more chill and less chaotic and like more relaxed. And there's something about that. Like, I guess the internet did exactly what I knew it was going to do, which was absolutely annihilate her. And Kjersti, it felt like, I remember when I was an intern at like NBC Nightly News, they would have write ups of people before they died.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
they
Everyone
would have
has
it
that.
ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember that. And I was like, I feel like everyone had their write up of the Meghan Markle show and then just made sure it aligned with what they probably previously already wrote. I could have written and gone on all these shows and said exactly what these people said, that it was boring, that it was whatnot, was whatnot. But girls who want to learn, hey, how do I elevate things a little bit more for my parties? I know you're looking at me like you are absolutely crazy. This is how all my friends look at me. But
So tell us
let me
about that.
tell
But
you.
tell me about that. The interview you did with her, though. You know
Yeah.
why she stopped and talked to you for
Yeah.
a long time, right? And she was
Yeah.
very. How would you describe her? And who were
So
you working for back then? Were you for Access Hollywood, or were you just?
I was freelancing at all different places then. So this was called the red carpet report, and they would call you, be like, hey, we have a red carpet, tomorrow. But this particular one was the same day. So just I would like everyone to keep that in mind because I knew this would be so like after we did the interview, I was like, this is going to be so embarrassing if they post this whole thing online, which they probably will. But Meghan Markle comes up, and I'm not just saying this because she ended up becoming a duchess. She has a presence, like she's very tall. She kind of has a royal presence. It's she's very stunning. And I kept calling her by her character's name.
Okay, we're with Megan Zane, who plays Rachel on Suits.
I'm Meghan Markle.
Oh my gosh,
Rachel Zane.
I'm mixing all of this up. This is the worst interview ever.
It's not, it's great.
Just kidding. Okay.
And so I'd be like, hi, this is Rachel Zane. She'd be like, oh, I'm not Rachel Zane. I'm Meghan Markle. And then I'd be like, this is Megan Zane. And she's like, no, that's not right either. And it happened a few times. And at this point, it's kind of like that feeling again, different feeling that you probably had with the Blake, but it's that, oh my God, this is going downhill fast. And I was like, this is going to go terrible. This actress could turn on me any second. Like I watched your Anne Hathaway interview. I was like, ooh, like I expected that type of reaction. Thank you so much. I gotta go.
Yeah.
And she didn't. She stayed. And she was chatting with me about boys. And when I liked it, she goes, you know us girls. She kind of brought me in. And she made me feel like, yeah, we're like best friends already. You want to go out for martinis? And so she brought me in. She's chatting about boys and her character in boys. And then she said something that actors don't really ever talk about until they're really, really famous is this is crazy. Like I worked at Paper Source down the street and I know exactly what Paper Source in Beverly Hills she's talking about. And she's like, I used to teach calligraphy classes, which makes sense about her show. And like, I can't believe I'm an actress on a show. She was explaining how lucky she felt like, and it kind of humbled her to say her backstory. And I think stuff like that is what the audience is actually craving in her current show. Take us to Paper Source, Megan. Get us out of the fake house and take us to Paper Source.
Off her. I feel about her that it's really like I feel like we're not seeing who she really is because she puts on this persona, and I don't buy the persona she's putting on.
Yeah.
And maybe in your interview, she was her real self because she wasn't she wasn't on TV. She wasn't known that much, and obviously she wasn't a royal at that point. I don't know if she's actually royal now because, anyways, but I think, what I crave from her is like a real person because I don't see the real person in there.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's what I've seen happen so much lately with celebrities is like people want authenticity. And if you don't show that, it seems fake. And but maybe I'll watch half another episode after talking to you.
Let me figure out what episode did you watch, the baking one?
I just started on season 1, episode 1, and then I did turn off.
I know what episode
they had
you should
made
watch.
the dessert of the pasta. I was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, you're like, this is not for me.
Anyways, Ashley, it was so nice to talk to you, and I really appreciate you taking the time. And maybe you got more people to like Meghan Markle after this conversation.
Yes, I have a whole list of things she needs to do for season 2.
Tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Yes, I'm at Ashley B underscore TV on Instagram and on YouTube. We'll be talking more Meghan Markle. So I am going to try some of her recipes, Kjersti, and I'm going to send it to you just to see if I can do it. I'm going to try that.
Thank you so much to Ashley for sharing her experiences with us. Maybe you're going to watch the Meghan Markle show. I now had committed to watching one more episode. I can't promise I won't fall asleep though. But anyways, thanks for watching Flawsome Talk. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification button so you don't miss an episode. And yeah, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.